Today I'm going to be working on a project that's a little bit different. We are cleaning out our barn and I found this. This is a 1985 RCA television. I know, most people would just see junk. It's outdated, it's old, and it's pretty much obsolete. But there's something cool about this technology. Now, more than just growing up with televisions like this, old electronics have a special place in my heart. I've always loved electronics growing up. And this thing looks so cool. You can see it's got the plastic wood grain sides. Really neat little TV. And it works. Do you guys remember that? You don't see that anymore, do you? Like I was saying, we were cleaning out the barn. This was left here by the previous owners of this property, and it's destined for the dumpster. It was headed to the dumpster, and I can't bring myself to doing it. It's just so cool. I feel bad throwing this away. So I thought to myself, how can I use this? How can I bring this back to life? And how can I convince Ashley to take this into the house? Now, I think I have a plan. What I want to do is turn this television into a stand, a side stand for our living room. Every couch needs a side stand, and maybe even just a little end table to stick around the room somewhere would be cool. I know you don't really see TVs as an end table, but that's what we're going to be doing today. So here's a side view. You can see the nice wood panel. This is actually a speaker, but the metal grate is popping off a little bit. The back is black. Front has a pop-down door for you could adjust the color and contrast and all that. This is actually an aluminum piece that's stuck on here, and the aluminum does have some corrosion. Here's the back of it. You can see right here, December 1985, so that's pretty cool. Now, you won't have a lot of surface area to set stuff on because this slopes back, but I still think it'll look cool. Now, the sad part about this is I'm not going to be saving the screen. It's not going to be a functional TV when I'm done. It's really a shame because it works. There's nothing wrong with it. We could hook a VCR up to it, pop a tape in, and watch a movie. But just with the change of technology, it really is obsolete. And at the same time, I think we could still save the essence of it, and that's the shape and the style of the TV. That's the reasoning behind pulling the insides out, is just that in practicality, a heavy TV that you'll never use or plug in doesn't really make sense. Let's take it apart first. So there's the inside. That's really cool. I've always loved electronics. Now I'm just going to cut these wires because I'm not saving any of this electronics. Check that out. That's the tube. So here it is. You can see it's just an empty shell now. Okay, now that we got the shell hollowed out, I'm going to turn my attention to legs. We need to build legs for this. An end table is about 24 inches tall. Sits at 14, so we're going to add 10-inch legs. Yeah. Now we got to make them pretty. Does that look like a nice leg? I think so. Now that we know what we're doing. Now we're going from 1.25 inches wide at the top to 3/4 inches at the bottom. So not only are we angling it, but we're tapering it, and I think that's going to be really cool. These legs came out so nice. I'm loving them. They're a little rougher on the edges. Jigsawing is hard. You can see that that lip. You know what? That's gonna sand all out. I'm not worried about it. I have some pieces of this trim laying around, and this is actually from our house, but these are the leftovers that I haven't been using because they have some bad edges or some knots that I wasn't happy with. You know, it's just a leftover piece. So I'm gonna use this to connect these legs, and I think that's gonna look really sharp. I'm gonna be using my pocket hole jig to pocket hole these. That was a little scary. For some reason, this pine was splitting super easy. What I ended up doing was taking apart, putting a lot of wood glue in there, putting glue in the crack. I could have made a new leg, but there was a chance it would have split again. So I instead just glued it really well, and it's gonna be super strong when it's dry. Now that I got 2 of these made, I'm gonna connect them together exactly the same way with these side pieces. I'll show you what that looks like. So the base is together. This is what it looks like. Actually really cool. And now I'm just sanding down all my seams, getting them nice and smooth. Now the legs are done, and imagine it kind of like this. We're gonna make it fit a little nicer, but that's the basis of it. Now that that is done, I wanna go ahead and make a wooden box to put inside here. I want to take advantage of the front of this as an opening, kind of like a cubby to put stuff in. So I'm going to try to measure this out, and we're going to frame up probably a plywood box that'll fit straight inside this TV. I was looking around at my scrap pieces, and I found this plywood, 1/2 inch, very clean. That's going to be perfect for the inside, lightweight. So I did pocket holes again, this time set for 1/2 inch because I got 1/2 inch plywood. I'm going to pocket hole screw these straight down, glue them, screw them. Now it might be hard to see, but there's some kind of posts in here that had some screws that held the tube in, and they stick up where I want my wood to go. So what I'm gonna do, all right, I'm trying to walk you guys through this every step of the way. It's really hard for me to get every piece of this as I go, especially since I'm kind of making it up as I go. All right, I made more progress. So what I did was I made a frame that goes across the front of the box to hold it kind of more solid, but also you can see I notched out some holes here so that I can put the original screws in that held the TV tube and bolt it to the front of the television case. So this should be able to lock in as part of the unit now. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me show you what it's looking like so far. Well, it's hard for me to hold it, but it's gonna be like this. You can see how that's coming out now. Now all I gotta do is test fit it to see if the back will still fit on there. I'm not sure about this part. It's just the very back of the box. That's not a big deal. It's just hitting this back edge on that slope. I'm gonna go ahead and just cut that off on the table saw. Just a 1/2 inch. In fact, I left these screws down low so I had a room to cut that if I had to. We had to move the project inside because we're ready for paint now. I think I'm 100% done with all the woodwork. Came out really good. I had to do a lot of notching around the front to get it to sit in the way I wanted. But as you can see, this thing, I love this. It's gonna look really good. So luckily we have black paint left over from another project. You can see over there. I'm gonna paint the inside black and the legs black, and I think that's gonna look really sharp. Let me try to get in the corners. I think black's gonna look good because it's like looking into the TV.
Yeah.
Which the old screen was actually gray, but.
Oh, there's a little spot there. Yep.
Alright, the paint is dry, and we're getting right back into this project. This came out so awesome looking. You can kind of see the wood grain in it, but it's not super noticeable, only when the light is against it. I'm really happy with how the legs came out. By starting with a wide piece of wood and cutting it away, you can create that splayed leg, but still having a straight top piece to hook it to your framing. I'm gonna definitely use that system again. I'm about ready to assemble this and see how it looks, but there's one more thing that I thought of that's gonna bring this project up to the next level. This is gonna be awesome. And that is this light. I picked up this little 9-inch light fixture, and my idea is to install it. Let me show you. Right here, inside the top. And that way, you can turn on the light and have it light up in here. It's gonna kind of like add to that feel of the television while you can still display something inside of here. It's gonna be really cool. So the first thing we do, actually, is to attach the base. Now I don't know if I showed you guys this, but I actually cut these plastic legs off because they were sticking down like these. And they were in the way of my base, so I just cut them flush so that they wouldn't interfere with anything. That is exactly where I want it. I'm going to be using small cabinet screws, and that's just a screw with a wide head to attach it to the base. There it is, held on tight. 4 screws is plenty. You guys might be wondering why there's still some wires in there. There's a little circuit board with some wires, and that's just because I didn't want to lose these buttons on the front or inside this panel, and that's what those are hooked to. So to keep the buttons, we kept the panels, the circuit boards, and that's not going to hurt anything. I guess we can put the box in. We're going to be using the original screws that held the TV in, and hopefully this works. Well, that's really cool already. We're going to make sure it's strong, so I'm also going to screw it in from the bottom with the same cabinet screws. Screwed in with 4 screws. Now it's feeling solid. Now before I put the back on, this is when I gotta install this. So now I just gotta figure out how I want this cord to come out. So let's take a look at it. So there's a screw hole in the back. I'm gonna send a zip tie through it. I'm going to wrap it over the wire, back through the hole. And then zip it together. The whole idea is that I want this cord to be stiff so that you can't yank it and accidentally unplug it inside here. The TV stand is ready for the big reveal. It's time for the final reveal, and I know you guys want to see that light working. We're going to show you that in a minute. But there's one more thing that this needs to be complete. You can't have a vintage TV without a rabbit ear antenna on top. This actually came out really good. This would be a cute bedroom table like this. Display stand, put some things in there. Side table next to your bed, end table next to the couch. It's really fun. So you just reach inside here, turn it on. Let's see what's on TV, Maverick. Do you like that?
Yeah.
There it is, guys, looking cool with some 3D dinosaur animation going on. And you can see the light inside there. It has a low and a high. You probably can't tell the difference on camera, but 2 light settings, and you can also set the color tone of the light with a switch, and I thought that was pretty neat. I like that it's easy to get to, but hidden, so out of the way. Really cool feature. What do you think of that, Maverick?
I don't know.
So this came out really cool. I'm happy with it. I love the black legs. The way they came out looks really good with the TV. It honestly looks like it all goes together. I love that you can display things inside of it. That's so fun. And you could also set something on top if you wanted to. You know, for an 80s TV that was headed for a dumpster, it turned into a pretty cool functional furniture piece. You can't beat the fake wood grain sides with the black. It looks so cool. To me it does. And like I was saying, the rabbit ear antennas really sets it off, and it keeps that whole feel going. We could probably knock them down a notch, but I still think they're cool sticking up high. Well guys, I guess I'm going to wrap it up now. I hope you enjoyed watching me build this stand. I think it came out awesome. Sometimes it's just fun to be creative and experiment with things, and that's how you learn and grow. So this was a fun little project for me. And it's actually a pretty cool piece for Maverick's bedroom. Seeing it in here, he can play in here. He can create his own little displays and feature things. I think that's fun. So I think I'll leave it in here for a little while, unless we find another place in the house for it. And it's going to make a really cute night light for him. I think at night we can leave this light on. He'd really enjoy that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yay. Hey.
So again, I just hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.
Bye.
Whoa.
Yo, let's get the soup.
Mm-hmm.